I want to talk to you today about important points for songwriting. My name is Rod Best and I'm a jazz pianist, arranger, producer, songwriter. Been writing songs for many years, written about 1,000 songs, including arrangements over that period of time. And so where do we start? Perhaps you might be an experienced songwriter, maybe you've only just started to think about writing songs. There's always something that we can learn and always tips that we can pick up. And so I want to just share a few of my thoughts on this today. Now, you might ask, well, I haven't written a song, where do I start? You might have a melody but no lyrics, or you might have lyrics and no melody, or perhaps you've got a chord progression with no lyrics or melody to that. So perhaps you're a singer with no musical background at all. And how do you get what's in your head into some sort of form so that you can then turn that into a song and later record it and produce it? Well, first of all, sing the melody that you have into some sort of recording device. It might be an iPhone, it might be a tape recorder, some sort of recording device, so that you have a copy of what you have, and do it without distraction. It's very easy to quickly lose what you have in your head when the distractions are there. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is to ask for help from a musician that can then put it into some sort of structure, add chords to it, and then you've got the song starting to take some shape. It's important to realize that the genre of the song will determine the type of chord progression used. For instance, you wouldn't use a C9 plus 13 in a country and western song because it just wouldn't fit. The chord just wouldn't. Perhaps you're good at coming up with melodies but no good with writing lyrics. Well, the first thing to do is get hold of a good book that will help you with the writing of lyrics, and one that I recommend is The Songwriter's Rhyming Dictionary, and this is by Sami Khan, a great book that will help you get started with writing lyrics. Then you need to notate your song if possible, and the best way to do this is to get a look at getting a notation program, or get someone who is musical who can actually put it down in note form for you. And some of the recommended notation software is Finale, Sibelius. I use Encore, which is now, I think, out of date, or doesn't no longer is on the market. But also Dorico. These are all good programs where you can start to write your song in notation form. Helpful to have some idea of the usual structure of a song. A regular pop song will be A, B, A, B, C, B. In other words, verse, chorus, bridge, then chorus. Now, this is the usual pattern of praise and worship, also of pop songs. Of course, not all songs have to be in this structure. The next important thing is to copyright your song, and you can do this by joining a public rights organisation such as ASCAP or BMI or APRA. Now, this is very important because if someone gets hold of your song and it's not copyrighted, they can claim it as their own, and then you have no rights to that particular work that you've done. Now, perhaps you're a musician with no voice. Some artists seem to make it without a good singing voice, but really, overall, the public want to hear someone with a decent voice. They don't want to hear someone who can't sing, even though you may be able to play an instrument well. So perhaps your singing voice is fine, but just needs a bit of voice training. And I recommend that you do this. The more that training that you have, the better it's going to sound to the public. I would say here to recognise your weak areas. and work to improve those. Don't be too proud to realise that, hey, I need some work in this area. Because if you want to be excellent in what you do, you need to be able to work on those areas where the weak ones become strengths. The next thing is, when you're writing your song, don't decide on the first idea that you have. Play around with the melody, with the lyrics, with the chord progression, until you're totally happy with the end result. Relax and let your creativity happen organically. When you try and force an idea, especially if you're wanting to get a song finished for a particular project, you can tend to rush into it without really giving it all the best. And so the main thing is to just relax and take your time until you're totally satisfied with the end product. Another idea is to collaborate with another songwriter. You may need help with the lyrics, or you may need help with the music side of things. Don't be afraid to join with another writer and to be open to constructive criticism as well. They can help you to bring the song to exactly how you want it. Choose singers and musicians that will do your song justice. It's no good, for instance, choosing an opera singer to sing a country and western style song, or again an opera singer to sing a rock song. You must be able to choose also musicians that are competent, people that are able to work in a studio environment, able to handle things under pressure. Over my years, I've had plenty of projects where I've thought musicians were good enough, but when they actually get into a studio situation, they can't handle the pressure, and with the time ticking away, it costs quite a bit of money. When it comes to collaborating with an artist, you don't need to be restricted to someone locally. You can use people overseas. For instance, I used a great guitarist, Patrick Yandel, for some of my projects, and he lives in the US. And I'm here in Australia, but it's worked out because you can just send files, WAV files or MP3 files via WeTransfer or Dropbox. So don't be restricted in that way. So thank you for listening to this tape. If you want to look at my material, you can look at www.rodbestmusic.com or look up my artist profile on Spotify, SoundCloud, or iTunes. Thank you.